Okay, in this section of tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an arc effect on your wall, a kind of a fillet kind of effect on your wall, curved walls, at suspended levels. Okay, to get that done, you need to make sure that you can access the wall that the effect has to be created on. But right here we intend to drop that effect here, but we can't find a wall here. The wall you're accessing here is not actually the ArchiCAD wall. This is the AutoCAD, this is the AutoCAD wall that is behind the slab. So to access the ArchiCAD suspended wall that you just created here, you will have to look at the story that is handling that wall. And remember that we just opened this AutoCAD file in ArchiCAD, so the stories are not created automatic, but we can create them. But by default, you should know that ArchiCAD create first and ground floor, ground floor, first floor, and second floor automatically. But it didn't do that here because we opened this directly as an AutoCAD file. So, but we can go ahead and create that in order to access the story that is handling this suspended wall here. Mind you, ArchiCAD by default creates stories at the level of 3,100 meters. So we have to create stories that will be able to access that. And our building here is more than 3 meters, so it has definitely overlapped into the next story. So we will get there to be able to do this. So let's right click here on the stories and ask ArchiCAD to create a new story and to give us a name. I'm leaving the name as default, which will come as story 1. So insert above, yes. So what's the height? I want the height to be 3,100. That is from the aboveness. So I will create. So this is 3,100, and this is the story here is let's check this as well. Story settings. This is okay, 3,100 and also 3,100. So the heights are in 3,100. So basically, we are not going to make use of we're not creating a story building. So let's not go into that detail. What we want is to access the next level. So the next level, whether it's 3 meters or 3,100 or 4 meters, whatever, all we want is to access the next level, which is more than our actual building height. So this is the next level here. You can see that the entire building is appearing here, including the suspended wall. That's why you can see it here. There is no wall in the floor plan, so ordinarily you wouldn't have seen this here, but because of the suspended wall attached to this, you will see it also as if it's a complete plan. So right here is what where we're going to, this is the suspended wall here. Right here is where we're going to drop the effect of the arcness. So you can see the details is here. The overall height of the wall is 3,450, and we have the elevation of the suspension to be 2,500. That means we are going to work within the range of 2,500 to 3,450. So let's get started. So to achieve that, you mouse over to the Windows section and click on the settings dialog box. This takes you to the Windows category, but what you're actually looking for is openings. So you have openings here, so you scroll down to choose a particular opening that will fit in that entrance porch. So you have arc opening here, which gives you purely arc, but you also have an ellipse arc opening here, which is something I'm going to choose for this very purpose. So the settings here, it's something that you have to be very mindful, and let's preview this. Okay, it's already in the preview. Let's look at the size now. It's something that you have to be very mindful. If you give a very wrong size, then in fact you won't even see it in the plan at all. So you have to be very mindful of this. Take note of the specifications you give for the suspension of that wall you already created. So having that in mind, you will know that the entrance porch width is about 3,500. So there is no way the arc will be 3,500 exact. It must be less. So let's put in 3 meters here for the width. This is the size of it. So now this is what the height. This should be the height. So the height now is the height between the beginning of the curve to the end of the curve. So the height is the size of this. So let's look at this to be 800. I'll give something much because it has to be 800. It's automatically changing this here, but it has to be 800. Maybe 820. Yes, that's good to go. Alright, so the seal or header value now should be 0 because it's going to start at the very beginning. This is supposed to be the bottom value, but in this case we are calling it the header value. So this is supposed to start from the base where the beginning of the curve. So yeah, you will leave it to be 0. So this is what it's referring to, this very point here. You know, this very point, this is where the curve is going to start. The curve starts here and goes like that. Because it's elliptical, you won't notice what I'm saying, but that's it. So make sure this is 800 and this is 3 meters, this is 0. For this very purpose, you can also find the project files. If you want to follow along with our project files, you can find them in your account. So once you get that done, you just click OK and then mouse over to the center point here and just click, and you click like so, and you can now preview in the 3D. So you have the opening here. Any failure on the settings, you will experience a disaster here. So one has to be very careful in the settings. You know, the 800 is here, the header is 0, and the 3 meters for the width from here to here is 3 meters. So this is it. You can use your cursor to zoom close. Alright, now that you have brought this in place, now there are certain modifications you need to do. You have to select it. Selecting this has to be logical. I told you, component in ArchiCAD, you have to mouse over, and ArchiCAD will tell you, give you a pass mark before you click to select. So look at the pass mark there. So I'm clicking now to select. I have selected it. So there are some adjustments I want to do. This is not opening the way I actually want, so I will need to adjust some components here. You know, you select this and move the nodes. You can, you know, I'm adjusting that now by moving the nodes. You know, it's changing its shape. You can see the shape is becoming curve-like. So I will now click. Once I get it to the my satisfaction, I will now click. Alright, it has given me that. Let me rotate this. You see, okay, this is drag horizontally. So I can actually drag this horizontally to reposition it at the center. I have checked within the 2D, but there are no options for that, so we have to manage our components right here in 3D carefully, and that has been positioned. So that's how you create an arc. So I have gotten what I want actually. That's how you create an arc in 3D. That's just what I want. But if I notice that the height is actually too much, I can reduce the height. Just reduce that 800 to something 500, which will take care of this. You make sure you select it and then you give it 500. Oh, 500, that's a big error. Let's undo that. 500 doesn't fit in there. Let's see. 700. Wow, it seems the 800 is just the minimum value that goes in there. I was lucky then. Okay, so that's how you achieve that. So we're good to go. Okay, but let's look at how we can make use of the nodes to adjust the height. let's select the object and then scroll to close and click on one of the nodes here, and okay, there is no option for resizing. Alright, escape that and select the second node there. Still no option for resizing. There should be option for resizing, so let's select this option here. You have so many nodes here, so we'll keep looking at the node that has the control over the resizement. Alright, this has, wow, I have stretch here, stretch vertically. So stretch vertically should allow me to stretch, okay, to stretch this vertically. Alright, so it has, alright, you can see the height is now decreasing by, this is 150, 115, 128. You know, you can use this to decrease. This is up to 600. So let me go, okay, you can take up to 600 and 600 and what, 660, 670. So you can see that I've decreased the height just by holding on this node here. So you have so many nodes here, and each of the nodes has its control over this component. So don't hesitate, navigate as much as possible. That's 670. By the time it goes too much, the whole thing will turn upside down. So you have to be careful the way you handle the object. I think 670 is the highest we can, I mean the minimum we can minimize. So that's okay, that's very okay with me. But that's how you can also modify this component in this perspective. So this is good to go. I'm okay with this, so that's done.